Thank you very much, and thank you everybody for coming today. It's lovely to be on Cayman. We set up our Cayman company back in June, so we've been here for a little while. Not very long, but I think I've traveled here like 9 times. It's really great to actually have gone out on the ocean on a boat, because mostly I just sat in a hotel room and worked. So it was great fun yesterday to actually experience Cayman. I'd like to talk a little bit about decentralized security. One of the great challenges within the crypto space, and it's been true since my first involvement back in 2014 in crypto, is that we have these private keys, and every time we use them, we're in a panic. And anybody who's not in a panic probably should be in a panic, because we haven't done a very good job yet of incorporating embedded cybersecurity within the execution of the blockchain. And so I come from 20 years of background in building trusted computing systems and helping drive industry standards. We've shipped literally billions of hardware platforms with embedded cybersecurity controls in the platform, but it's been very hard to get the payment industries and the banking industries to change their systems and make your life simpler. There are 1.5 billion PCs that would reduce your risk in logging onto the bank. There's yet a global bank to turn them on. And so we're here to try and provide and show what it means to embed world-class cybersecurity controls. They're naturally decentralized. And so Rivetz was set up as a company to pursue aspects of this mobile security space, and very early on in our formation, we ran into blockchain. So we were not originally set up as a blockchain company. So earlier you had, Craig did a wonderful definition of blockchain and all of its capabilities around it. And so we talk about things that are trustless and censorship proof, and it's an immutable ledger, and an immutable ledger is really cool. I can write something on the ledger and it never changes. The challenge is censorship proof. So censorship proof is a fantastic property of blockchain. By the way, that also means it's network security proof. All of our existing network security controls that we use and have been comfortable with or uncomfortable with for the last 30 years are all about censorship. I log into a firewall and it blocks the content, or I have content inspection and it limits packets. And so censorship proof has been fundamentally the principle of cybersecurity. It's been a network censorship of access. So guess what? Blockchains are network security proof. Well, that's a little bit of a challenge, because last time I checked, we're still, after like 30 years of e-commerce, everybody feels really safe shopping online. Like, really, truly safe? No, we just do it. We understand the risk, but mostly we have a comfortable aspect, because if you charge your credit card and the money goes somewhere else, you can call your credit card company and they send it back to you. That doesn't work so well in blockchain. And it's really a kind of interesting challenge around blockchain, because we can't prove with a blockchain if the transaction was intended. This is a fundamental weakness in the entire blockchain ecosystem. What does this mean? It means that if you only have the blockchain, I don't have a video of you using the blockchain. I don't have Microsoft antivirus records of you using the blockchain. I have just the blockchain. All I can prove is that transaction was done. I can't prove that you intended to do it. There is no way to prove that your private key wasn't stolen. And so as a result, there are many properties we try and project on blockchains that don't actually really exist. A lot of the existing ICOs that are out there are trying to assume certain aspects or properties of a blockchain that aren't really there. So Rivetz has been really trying to push the envelope of what's possible. And a year and a half ago now, we did a transaction which incorporates 2 pieces, and I really should animate this slide. If you think of the first piece, what we're all very familiar with is using keys to create instructions. By the way, your Bitcoin is not held in your wallet. Your Bitcoin is held on a chain, right? You use a wallet to form an instruction. It's kind of like an old wire transfer. It's like, please send this much money from that account to this account, and then please sign it, and if you're here in Cayman, have somebody else sign it, and then please give it to the other person on the other side of the desk. They can't do anything with it until somebody else signs it, right? And so we have a high assurance instruction that went to the bank that says move money from here to there. The challenge we have is that all we record today, if you've ever used Etherscan to go look at your ICO and buy, right? We have a transaction hash. We can prove the transaction happened, but we don't have any information around the rest of the properties of the transaction, like what device did it, what rules were followed. And so what we're doing is bringing the world-class capabilities of a multi-billion-dollar industry to put hardware security in devices that is all about rules and keys and applying that to creating an attestation hash or a signature of the health and integrity of the device and binding that into the chain transaction as well. So really two things we do. One is we help within the device create the security so you can have like a Trezor in a Samsung phone. Very cool. But then the question is, did I use it? And so it's not only do I have the capability to have a Trezor inside a Samsung phone or any other Android phone, but I can also have proof that that device was actually bound within the transaction or instruction that was used. So these are cybersecurity controls on a decentralized basis to enable proof, mathematical proof, that this device in this condition with these controls. So rules are kind of fun. Like simple rules are a PIN number. That's, if you don't type in the PIN number for the key you have or a password to unlock your private key, then you're not allowed to use the key. A trusted execution environment assures that you had to know the password. You couldn't have just copied it or guessed it or other things like that, because the environment can verify that the proper keys were used and how many times they were used, etc. But we can do other things. We can ask an external device, an Oracle or an external service, can I have a rule? Like, am I in Cayman? That'd be easy. We could absolutely build transactions that would only ever work from the island. That might be a really good thing, especially if you want to prove you were doing all the transactions from the island, right? This is what the whole place is about. By the way, they've never stamped my passport when I left. I've been here 9 times. I've never left. There's just copies of me everywhere. It's fantastic. But that's what you want to know, is when did he arrive? When did he leave? Did he do transactions when he was on the island? Not when I was in international airspace having left the island. So the concept of external controls are really interesting, and we've built a token that helps us to monetize and manage and execute those controls, both internally in the device and externally. Why are these important? The reason they're important is because if we enhance the quality of the security, if we can enhance the assurance that the transaction or the data written to a ledger was intended, then I can increase the value of the data that you can put on the ledger. So this is about increasing the capacity of the ledger to store 10 or 100 times more valuable data on the ledger because I can prove the data was intended. And that is a very interesting capability. Proof is a really interesting idea. Today, there are 500 million devices in people's hands that do this already. So we're ready. You can have 500 million hardware wallets in phones. And we're working on the technology to do that. We've rolled out a very simple initial product, which is our Rivets Authenticator. Anybody wants to see it, I have it running in my pocket. A couple of the other folks from Rivets who are here are both standing by the door there, can demonstrate it to you. And all we're doing is a Google Authenticator or an Authy-compatible authenticator, but we're running all the seed keys in hardware. So you can run malware on the phone, you can completely hack the phone, you can't steal the seed keys that are your Google Authenticator. Fantastic. You don't need a separate device. I don't need a little keychain I'm carrying around in my pocket with little codes on it. I can have it built into my phone, which is, of course, where we want it. One of the beauties of having security built into your handset is that if you lose it, you notice. I don't have to train you. How many people have been to a cybersecurity training class? Oh my God, that's the worst nightmare possible. It's all employees come down from 3 to 5, we're gonna have cybersecurity training, use really big passwords, don't forget them. What we want is something that's automatic, something that's sort of magical in its effect, right? Technology delivers that kind of magic. And so what we want to do is I log into my device logs me into the world. With tamper-resistant, robot-controlled codes, they never forget. Maybe they could back them up to my other devices. So your identity shouldn't be your single superphone. Your identity should be your collection of devices. Your collection of devices is your identity. So if you lose your phone, how many people will notice that they lost their phone? Well, we're mostly a little bit older. You try and remove a phone from a 17-year-old, you can lose an arm doing that. My younger daughter, she doesn't like me telling the story on her, but when she was 16, 17, Mom used to take her phone away at dinner because she would be texting during dinner. Just putting it over there, the child wouldn't eat. It's in the same room, it's 20 feet away. No, it has to be within human reaching radius, because heaven forbid the thing might ring. We're all old. We've learned to forget our phones and stuff like that. It's really not important. You can shut it off for days. It's okay. People complain, but it's really okay. And so this concept of I have a human awareness, a continuous human monitoring that my device is my control, and if I lose it, I'll notice. And then I can take an action. I can use my other devices to report it lost. I can tell the services to ignore any requests from it. There are all sorts of things that are possible. We have to build security by design. We do not want a car with airbags duct taped to the dashboard. It turns out it really screws up the Lamborghini, very nice, seamless. Yeah, no, you want it built in. By the way, we'd like to know how well it was built in. We want to find out if somebody else was rescued by the airbag that was built in. So this concept of identity of my device and then bringing along the security of keys and tools and capabilities within that device, that they're just built in. So everybody's used multi-factor authentication. We're all playing with aspects of crypto in this audience. What's your favorite kind? It's my favorite current magic trick. Think of your favorite current kind. You're wrong. It's not your favorite. It's not the one you use the most. It's not the one you've taught your mother how to use, nor your children how to use. Your favorite is push the send button. Dial the phone and push send. It's fully integrated, designed in, operational security that's built in. There's a multi-billion-dollar industry of SIM chips that keeps your account safe. Wasn't always that way. 1994, we had 80 million identity clonings in the United States of cell phones. They added security to the handset, went away. We don't have passwords for long-distance phone calls anymore. Fantastic. You used to have to dial a PIN number every time you dialed your phone. It was like, dial the phone number, go deet, deet, then you have to type the PIN number in. Like it went away. It's fantastic. Actually, if you talk to really old people, they used to dial the phone and there's no send button. You just dial the phone and we connect. That would be really cool, actually. So we're trying to evolve a new business model for security. I'll make a slight side comment here. We are a utility token. We believe in being a utility token. Our token is being used for service and delivery of that capability. It has interesting principles on why that token has different values and different uses for people. But it's really important in this concept that we have clear and understanding of the business model. We're trying to revolutionize the way you buy services and capabilities on the internet, and that we use crypto to have market-based pricing of those services. And I'll be the first to admit we have absolutely no idea what we're doing. We're making it up. Like, what's your market-based pricing of backup services? What happens if a bunch of traders get together and change the market-based pricing of our backup services? How are the humans going to react? Nobody knows any answers to this. We're all going to learn this, and we're going to discover it. And it's really important for us to remember that in utility of this, by the way, I shouldn't need a broker-dealer's license to sell you $5 worth of backup service. It's not a security. It is a service. And so we're looking to provide the tools to give devices automatic money they can spend on service. Your device is going to spend this money because I can put a policy fence around the resource on your device, and it can go pay for a penny worth of backup and recovery, or a VPN service, or an identity attribute service. You don't want to have to put a quarter in the telephone every 2 minutes while you're talking to your girlfriend long distance. That gets really boring. That's the current scheme we have. Get your treasure out and spend a nickel. So thank you very much for coming. If you have any questions about aspects of security in this space, we're here to help, and we're here to bring a consumer-based experience. Our ideal world in this market is that the security becomes invisible, and that you think of security not as a protection, but as quality. This is how we improve the quality of the relationship and the value of the relationship for any service that binds our type of service into their product. So thank you very much.